I can't, it's so surreal right now. I can't believe that we're engaged.
And a ring means is a symbol of your commitment to each other. And it's gonna be important to choose each other every day.
Sorry, but this season was a dumpster fire. It really was, in the sense that it looks like people were more there for clout than they were actually for the purpose of the show. I feel like the couples that left, yes, season 1 we had a couple that left. Season 2 I don't quite remember, but still, for 2 couples to leave doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for me. Why were they there in the first place? I don't get it. And then for you to have Sadie and JR do whatever they did, and we don't know what they did in that bedroom, doesn't make sense as well. We should have known more of what was going on with them as a couple. Why did it get to a point whereby he needed to speak to her before he went to sort of have his ultimatum addressed? I don't get why that was done. And also, am I surprised that the couples that got engaged? No, I'm not. I'm not really. With Sandy and Nick, there was a lot of problems going on there. And then with JR and Zaina, I said it before and I'll say it again, I don't think they were in a really sort of romantic relationship. They might have been people that dated before and broke up and then decided to come on the show for clout, or they might have been friends that decided to pretend like they'd been dating, because there's nothing about them that convinces me that they were in a relationship prior to them coming on the show. And so the 2 couples that got engaged, I have no opinion about those 2. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing The Ultimatum, Season 3, Episode 9. So you have JR. I thought it was going to be Nick and Sandy be the first ones to give each other, to come to a decision about the ultimatum. But apparently Sandy needed to meet up with JR. And in my opinion, watching that reunion, I think JR wanted to live with Sandy. I think he wanted to live with Sandy, and Sandy sort of saying to him that she's choosing Nick broke him. Yes, I know he cried at the end, but I think that broke him, because that was not something he expected. Because for him, he had this strong emotional connection with Sandy, and he felt like, they were going to have a future together. So her turning around and sort of telling him that, she has chosen Nick is something that wasn't on the cards for him. And so finding that out is devastating. I think it's devastating. Because she's the one who pulled the plug. He's not the one who pulled the plug. She's the one who pulled the plug and said, this is the choice that we're making. We can't live here together. And so it makes you question whether he would have proposed to her if she had said she wanted to live with him. It makes you question. And now what I think is some people come into the experiment to sort of get what they have always wanted, but were not brave enough to do. In the case of Sandy, maybe she wanted to date a guy like JR but wasn't comfortable doing it. And so now that she's had that, she's decided to go back to the person who she feels will give her the most of what she wants from a marriage. But I don't think Nick is it. I think Mariah was right to tell her that Nick is not your guy. You need to leave Nick alone. But she has decided to pick Nick. And so you have JR go and meet up with his partner that he came into the experiment with, Zaina, and he goes on about how amazing she's been, how, he's grown, how much he's learned, how much she's learned, how much she's changed. I said this at the start, I'll say this again. I feel like JR and Zaina have dated before or know each other from somewhere, and they decided to come to the experiment as a couple and decided that they would go through this as though they were giving each other an ultimatum, but this was a business opportunity for either one of them. Because to me, they've never always seemed like a couple. I've yet to see them make out. I've seen JR make out more times with someone who wasn't his partner. I've seen him make out more times with Sandy than I've seen him make out with his partner that he came into the experiment with. So to me, it comes across as a business contract, as 2 people who knew that they were never going to propose at the very end. I think his tears are more for Sandy breaking up with him than they are for the fact that he didn't propose to Zaina. Zaina really didn't seem that shocked. She really didn't seem that shocked that he didn't propose. I think she knew it was coming and was just waiting for him to pull the plug. That way she can play victim. Is Mariah and Caleb. They are the ones to face the ultimatum. What do I think? I don't know what to think, really, because Caleb, I think, was not honest with his partner. That's what I'm going to say. And Caleb, I think, didn't want to sort of break her heart. And this is why sort of they seemed a smooth transition. Because I think Caleb needed to be more honest about his connection with Ari and what went on during his time with Ari in their trial marriage. He made it seem like Ari is the one who was pursuing him and he was just the innocent bystander. And I think when Mariah started to spiral, he sort of distanced himself from anything to do with Ari. And this was able to give her the security. Do I think they would have been as smooth? I know there was a lot of turmoil. Do I think this would have been it? I think had she had the opportunity to experience a trial marriage with somebody else, they might still have walked off hand in hand, but the conversations would have been different, because all we hear is her saying that she's grown, she's become a better person, she's become a different person, she's realized that he is the person for her. Well, she hasn't had the opportunity to experience anything else, and according to him, he's her second partner in a romantic relationship. So maybe she doesn't have that bigger resume or that big an experience sort of to sort of look back on and see whether she is the right person for this guy. I'm not saying everybody needs to date more than one person. Some people date one person and that's it. They marry and they last for the rest of their life. So to each their own. But I still feel like Mariah is too regimented. She was saying to him, this was the final piece of the puzzle. I have everything else. And this is, so he is living her idea of what a relationship is. He is living her idea of what a marriage should be. And do I think it's healthy? No, I don't. No, I don't. I think if the day things go left, they're going to go way left and they won't be able to correct them, because she's so regimented. She doesn't have the flexibility that he will need in a relationship. She comes across as someone who always wants to be about herself. So she comes across as a me person, and when things are not me, then she sort of kicks a fuss. That's the impression that I get from her. What do I think about him? I think Caleb is just there to please Mariah. Whatever makes her happy will make him happy, and I think this is why he's an ideal partner for her. Do I see them lasting long term? As long as he can keep it up and continue to sort of be at her service, yes, they will last. But the moment he speaks up or the moment he thinks differently, they're going to have problems. He proposed to her, surprised, no. He was always going to propose. The moment he declined that he had anything romantic with Ari is the moment that I realized that he's one of the guys that come on the experiment, pretend to have a strong connection with somebody else, or has a strong connection with somebody else, but then backs down and sort of goes back to their partner because they want the safety and security of something that is familiar. Sort of like the devil you know is better than the angel you don't. That's the mentality that I got from him. So you have Sandy and Nick. Well, Sandy has had a conversation with JR and she's told him that she's going to, well, she implied that she was going to pick Nick. That's the impression that I got. And then she meets up with Nick. And it's like, I don't think, here's what I feel. I feel like Sandy really likes JR. But she liked whatever Nick brought for her, whether it was security or whatever it was that she received from Nick. She also liked that as well. So I think her goal was to leave the experiment single. That way she can go and explore both sort of relationships in the real world and discover which one works best for her. That's the impression that I'm getting, because she had all these nice things to say about this man, but then turned around and said that she's not yet ready for marriage. He said all these nice things and he was sort of implying that he's ready for marriage. And so for me, I think they both have problems. They both have problems. And Mariah, regardless of her faults, was right to tell her that she shouldn't marry this man. Well, not at this point, especially if the allegations made by Vanessa are true. Then she shouldn't marry him at this point. He needs to go and do work. He needs to really go and do work and sort of work on himself, both psychologically and with whatever other problem he has that Vanessa has hinted to. I said I'm not going to address it, or I'm not going to mention it, because I don't have any evidence to say it's true or it's not true. And I think once he's done that, he'll be in a better space. Otherwise, he's just moving from one thing to the other, which is not healthy at all. So I'm happy that they both chose not to get engaged. Yes, he's devastated, he's heartbroken, but this is not the end of the world. Yes, he said he can't see his life without her, and she can't see her life without him. And it's like, I don't think so. I think she can see her life without you because of what she did with JR during the experiment. She can see her life without you, so don't sort of deceive yourself and feel like you're it for her. She already has options. She's just weighing her options to see which one she feels is best for her. So it's it's devastating for him that he didn't get what he came into the experiment for. But I think it's better he not get what he wanted than him get something that he thinks he needs when he's not ready to receive it. So I'm happy she said no. Well, he didn't even get to propose. Well, I'm happy they didn't even bother sort of going through the formality of kneeling down and pretending to propose and getting rejected. It was always going to be a no. And I think he knew it was always going to be a no, especially after the way he kicked off during the sort of trial phase with JR. I think he knew once he did that, there was no coming back from that. So the final ultimatum to be answered is between Scotty and Aria. Aria, for me, I really empathize with. Aria, I think out of all the girls during the experiment, she's the one I felt for the most, followed by Chanel. Because I feel like with Chanel, at least she had a caring, compassionate, empathetic partner who was always looking out for her. Might have been from a place of selfishness, but at least he was better than Scotty. Scotty tried to guilt Aria. Scotty tried to manipulate her. Scotty tried to gaslight her. So I feel sorry for her. I really do feel sorry for her. And I'm hoping that she's able to find herself either by watching herself on TV or by speaking to somebody else. Because they do meet up for the ultimatum. He goes on and then he's got tears in his eyes. I think he wanted to manipulate her into saying yes. Because the last time when he cried, she was very empathetic, gave him a hug, and he said you likes physical touch. So I'm not surprised he used the waterworks. Am I surprised she said yes? Yes, I am. Because she knows this man doesn't possess the qualities that she wants in a husband. And that's the truth of it. She knows that. And there's no word of a lie to that. She's already said it, that, Caleb possesses some of the qualities she's looking for in a partner. So the idea that she would say yes to this man is still puzzling for me. It's still puzzling. I don't get it. I'm really trying to be compassionate and understanding, but I really don't get it. And I'm really questioning, did she say yes because she didn't want to reject him on international TV? Or did she say yes because she wanted to still continue in this relationship and see if they could make the changes that were needed to be in a functional relationship? I am still curious. I really am curious because I don't know which it is. And so I want to know what was her rationale, what was her reasoning behind that. The fact that they were both wearing the same color scheme told me that they had agreed to get engaged. The fact that they were both wearing red told me that they had a conversation and they had agreed that if I come wearing this color, then no, I'm going to say yes. If I come wearing that color, no, that I'm going to say no. That's the impression that I get. I might be wrong, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, so they're engaged. So you have two couples that have said yes to the ultimatum and they have decided to propose to their partners. And then you have JR, Sandy, Nick, and Zaina. That was always going to be a no. I think Zaina and Nick knew it or saw it coming because the moment these two people coupled up, that was the end of any connection that they had with anyone else. And so am I surprised that they've chosen, well, I think out of that foursome, the person who's made the choice is Sandy. Sandy's the one who made the choice of what was going to happen. Everybody else was just going to go along with whatever was said. I think if Sandy had given the green light to JR, he would have proposed to her. He would have proposed to her or moved on with her and then explored that connection to see where it goes. But because she said no to him, he had no choice but to agree to the no and find his way to whoever is going to be his partner for life. Otherwise, he knows for a fact that this is done. I don't know whether it's done permanently. Part of me wants to believe that after the show, they continue to explore it and then eventually either made it work or didn't make it work. I don't know. So I can't wait to see the reunion in the next episode. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 8. Bye, guys.